Inspiration can come literally from anything. It might be just me listening to some music when I get to the studio, or I just simply sit down, open my Ableton, take a random plugin and, play the first notes. And usually when I play the first one, the second one magically appears, and then the third one. So it kind of just happens. And sometimes something really great happens, and sometimes you're working on something for like a whole morning, and at the end you're like, not too sure about this, let's just move on to something else. So inspiration is one thing, but it doesn't always guarantee an amazing track. So as an example of the range of inspiration for music, it could be your family. I've made songs for my kids. It could be just opening a laptop and being a bit hangover from the night before, having played a couple of hours, just seeing where your inspiration takes you. One of those tracks that I made in that situation was Antigone. I remember just coming from a gig in Greece, and I just really loved the word Antigone. I saw it somewhere on a poster, and I was like, oh, that's very cool. I'll remember the words. And then I was sitting in the plane, opened my laptop, and start writing a melody on the Juno plugin. I created some pads on top of that. That's sometimes how simple it can get, and then that became quite a big track. Another track that I made was Rio, which is written for my son, and I just bought a new synthesizer, a Prophet 6, I believe, and was just playing around with it in the studio. Made a little arpeggio, and a melody came from that, and I just recorded like a little session. Sometimes when I'm making music, I try to lay something down before I kind of lose the momentum, and it might not be the whole track, but it might just be the automation of a filter, for instance. So I have a couple of minutes of audio that I can incorporate into a track. I remember using also a pedal that I had at the moment, a delay pedal, and everything was working together so nicely, and I just recorded this part, and I was never able to recreate it later on. And that's one of these things about using hardware. You're just really in the moment, and you just get sucked in. Like before you're like an hour and a half further, and you've created this really nice melody, and you just have to lay it down quickly. I think any type of experience, whether it's meeting people or going to see a movie, reading a book, a walk in nature, anything can really inspire making music. Maybe not really directly, but it might put you in a certain frame of mind. Even going to a dance party, like playing a DJ set. I might hear another DJ play a certain track or a vibe in a set, which might inspire me the next day to open my laptop and start a track that is inspired by that experience. You never create something in a vacuum. It's always in some way inspired by stuff around you. So when I start writing music, it's not like I create a melody and then that's what it is. Really, sometimes it's just a repetition of one note, and I might add like a kick, to have the foundation and to kind of have the structure on which I can build on that one note that I have. Usually when I start with, let's say, trying to write a melody, I keep it very simple, very basic, and I like to build something around it. So maybe add some pads, like a chord structure. It really just starts from there, and it's sometimes hard to explain what exactly the process is, because it can be many things. I think happy accidents are essential in my work. Very often I just hit a few keys and see what happens, and it's the inspiration that brings you the actual melody. And you don't really need any musical knowledge, to be fairly honest, when you're writing. You just play a chord, let's say, and then you think like, oh, what could be the next one? It really doesn't matter if you're just trying to find the right notes. As long as you find the right notes for the next chords, that's all that matters. You don't have to know whether it's a G minor or D major. All you can do is just, try it by ear, play a C minor and see what fits with it. And you don't even have to know what the name of that chord is. You can take as long as you need. You can take an hour to find the next chord. And that's great. I mean, to be honest, that's how I started writing music. I think now I have a bit more of an idea of what chords work together and what could work in my music. But you know, by experimenting and trying different chords and different notes together, you really come up with different things, and this is the beauty of writing music, that you can really surprise yourself. It's not that you think like, oh, I now know what the next one is going to be. You might just hit a note and be like, wow, that sounds really amazing. I've always written my music this way, and I might continue to do so for a long time.